Hello everybody, and welcome to Goodman LEGO Creations. I'm Nick Goodman, and I thank you for tuning in to this custom LEGO build showcase. The build I have for you today is of my own design. Built on a 48 by 48 stud base plate, I used plain black bricks for the foundation of this MOC. The idea for this build came from the history of the German invasion of the Soviet Union during the early stages of the Second World War. Specifically following the failed attempt by the Wehrmacht to seize control of Stalingrad from the summer of 1942 to early 1943, the German army retreated in an attempt to regroup for a future offensive. I present my MOC, Retreat Through the Steppe. Based in February of 1943, in the harsh Russian steppe, I decided to primarily cover the build with snow. To achieve this look, I used a combination of tiles, plates, and curved slopes in order to reflect the smooth and rounded shape of heavy accumulated snowfall. For the dirt foundation, I decided to use brown as it contrasts very well with the white of the snow. I initially thought about using dark tan, but I definitely think that brown was the better choice. There are two product additions included in this build. I have a customized Brickmania BF-109 German fighter plane. The fuselage of the plane is almost exactly from the Brickmania instructions, but I particularly customized the wings and tail in order to achieve a shot up and crashed look. The plane is covered in a number of bullet hole stickers to really display the idea that this plane was shot down during a dogfight. For this specific set of stickers, I used the ones included with the Brickmania Rats and Foxes instruction book. As the aircraft has a primarily dark bluish gray color scheme, I used light gray to show the exposed structural elements of the plane exposed from the bullet damage of the hypothetical Russian fighter responsible for shooting it down. The other products included in this build are Minifigure German soldiers. I used 8 figures to round out this build. Most of these figures have Brick Arms helmets, with 2 of them using Minifigure field caps. To arm these retreating soldiers, I used a variety of Brickmania perfect caliber guns and Minifigure superior caliber rifles. Of the 8 minifigures used within this build, there are 3 different torso designs. For the NCO directing the flow of troops, I used a basic Car 98 configuration. The field cap is that of a standard Wehrmacht soldier, and he is equipped with a Brick Arms Mauser pistol. Another torso variation is the machine gun kit. For this minifigure, I have him with a strapped Brickmania perfect caliber STG-44. The last design is for another Car 98 figure version, but this one has the metal ribbon as seen by the red band on the front of the torso. When I was originally laying out the design of this MOC, I started with the downed BF-109 fighter. As I wanted to include a bit of a crash scar, I was unsure if I was going to include figures at all besides potentially a pilot. I decided to showcase a crash that was a little older than I originally planned, and so I chose to include the hint of a road for the retreating troops to walk along. To separate the road from what I imagine is a snow-covered Russian field, I needed a fence design. I decided to use a very simple technique which, when it comes to stability, is not necessarily the greatest, but I feel like it looks quite good for the region and time period. As you can see, each section is freestanding. You must push the parts up and down until they look aligned. I included a few white pieces to represent snow that has accumulated on the railings. The crashed BF-109 rests in the crash scar that has swept away the snow layer and left a swath of disrupted dirt behind it. To convey the idea that the crash has been here for a bit of time, I added a few snow pieces across the wreck to display the continuous snowfall that made the winter of 1942-43 particularly harsh. For this build, I decided to simply create a cradle for the plane to sit within so that the only thing holding it into place is gravity. But with the use of slopes, it has a designated area and rests with the proper angle I was going for. The left wing, which represents a major element of the scene, is attached to the plane while the other wing rests by itself on the other side of the aircraft. I used a bar and gear wheel stuck into a jumper to secure the right wing section. As you can see, it rests comfortably in its spot and maintains the correct angle to appear as if it was ripped off as the plane came to a stop. The left wing is attached to the fuselage of the plane with the use of a ball joint. This connection is reinforced by the use of inverted slopes. This connection allows me to angle the wing in any way I would like, and it allows me to securely achieve the desired angle to fit the flow of the crash site. The tail is one of my favorite areas of the build, as I feel like the various pieces I was able to use really come together to look like the shredded vertical stabilizer of a BF-109. To add a little variety to the MOC, I included a barren tree. I used a technique of brown stud shooters combined with Technic parts and brown bars. The nice angles of the branches are created by those stud shooters, and when combined with pins and bars are rather stable. Without the extra connections, the stud shooters can oftentimes pop off their connections and can really drive you crazy. The thinner branches use clips, bars, and cones to round out the thinning sizes of the branches. To fill out the rest of the more plain areas of the snow-covered field, I used two different plant designs. The first was inserting simple brown cow horns into jumper plates to represent twigs and other thin pieces of wood and plants that stick out through the snow. The second design is my way of showing a snow-covered bush using brown bionicle tails and white plant leaves. The design is very simple, but I definitely like how it looks, and it breaks up the barren land quite nicely. Overall, I am very happy with the way that this build turned out. From the concept I imagined for this idea to the completed build, I think that the plane looks very natural and believably appears to have torn up the environment it rests within. The plants and trees seem fitting for the time of year, and the built-up snow from the crashing plane blends well into the existing snow layer. The figures, representing the retreating German army from Stalingrad and their furthest pushes into the Soviet Union, do a nice job of basing the scale of the build. I hope you enjoyed my overview of this build. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you liked the video, I would greatly appreciate you hitting that like button to help me grow this channel. I thank you so much for checking out this showcase of my most recent MOC, and I hope to see you in the next video.